Okay, so Ashley is the group what? She the mediator? She's the fixer of all of the issues in the group? That's what Miss Ashley is now? Well, okay. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 7. Hilarious that Ashley, who's been off having another baby and eating her own placenta and all of this. Listen, I don't know nothing about all that. I don't really want to know a whole bunch about all that. But we saw them do the whole placenta thing and cook it. The child looked like a big piece of liver. And they was doing something with it, and then they put it in these capsules and all. So she's running around, and she's eating her placenta, and she's just feeling great, and she got everything all together, and everything at the trip is a mess, and she's going to come in, and I guess she's the one to figure it all out. I don't know whose idea that was, but I'm seeing you, Ashley. Listen, girl, do your thing. Ashley's like, y'all ain't going to be just filming without me, and then, you know, I'm not going to get my time. She got plenty of her time. She is definitely the bone carrier. She is definitely playing her role. Do you understand? She is playing her role. She's doing it in such a Candy Burr style that I just can't take it. I said, come on through here, Ashley. She comes in, and the other person who's usually falling apart is on top of it, which is Candace. Candace is really holding herself together this season, because even when Karen actually talked to Candace a little bit about the little conversation between her and Giselle, and where Giselle said stuff about her husband managing her, even when Dorothy talked to her about her husband managing her, she's like on it. She ain't falling apart. She ain't crying. She's telling them, listen, that's my man. And my man got my back. And you back up off of me. And she's really doing a good job holding her space with that. I ain't mad at you, Candace. So she's really, the two younger ones are really holding their own and being grown women, whether you like the type of grown women they are or not. Ashley is a mess starter. Candace is just, you know, finding her way. Finding her way, growing up in front of our eyes. And I also did see Candace's music video was released, and it's good. The video, I mean, the song is pretty good. I don't know why they put that much auto-tune on her, because she really can sing. So I don't understand, what is this thing with auto-tune? I guess everybody wants to sound like Roger Troutman again, from back in the day. But I didn't even feel like she needed it. But it's a cute song. It really is a cute song, and I guess everything's pretty much okay because all the girls from the video, from the show, are actually in the video. Now, it's funny because it's very bebop, 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 and when you look at them, it's like, who's these old women in this scene that's basically set up for like young girls? Because that's what it looks like a video, just some old, you know. Like, remember Monica's Just One of Them Days? It's got that type of feel. But y'all too old for that. But, I mean, whatever. I think they could have did her, the treatment could have been a little more mature. Because she's young, but you got all these older people, and you're not even that young. I mean, it's like really young girl in love type of thing. I don't know. I wasn't crazy about her makeup. I thought the makeup was too much, but it was on brand for Candace, because if you ever noticed in the show, Candace wears too much makeup. Candace she gives you full-on drag queen at all times. Look at her confessionals. Look at that makeup. I said, girl, you coming to the show with me? What you doing? Too much. Too much. But whatever. So it's on brand with her. Anyway, it's a good job. It's a good job, because, you know, a lot of times the girls will release songs, and you be like, okay. Like Ashley's song. Ashley, sweetie, She got you. See, remember when do y'all remember when Candace first started? And I said it in one of my reviews. I said, oh my God, this is going to be one of them things because we got two pageant girls. And they are, at their core, they're two pageant girls. There is a constant competition going on between Ashley and Candace. It ain't never going to stop. They pageant girls. And that's what they did. Sorry about it, but I see the pageant, and at this point, Candace is winning the pageant, Ashley, because her song completely craps on your song. It really does. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so listen. Robin and Giselle. Giselle pulls Robin to the side and has this tough talk with her. Basically, she is telling her, and it was weird because they were all the girls were having breakfast together, and she chose that time to pull her to the side for them to go have this talk, which put the other girls on alert, like, what they doing? You know, you always put y'all in a position where people are like, they don't trust you all, they feel like y'all are shady, because y'all do. Y'all literally pull yourself away from the group, and y'all be having, you know, it looks sideways. It really does. Most of the time, y'all are doing something sideways, but it looks sideways. Anyway, they go and they're talking, and she's telling her, you know, this whole thing about you laying up in the bed and all of that. Juan is right. You need to snap out of it. You need to snap out of it. You need to get it together. But at the same time, Giselle, girl, you ain't got your shit together either. But whatever. But she's telling her, you know, and what she's saying ain't incorrect. And Robin kind of opens up, and Robin says, and this was so alarming to me. She says, because remember we talked about how the brand is actually doing well. It's doing well. And I was like, okay. And I'm really happy for her. But I'm like, Robin, what are you doing? She was telling her, you know, she's basically kind of afraid of the success that's coming toward her. And she's afraid because she's afraid of losing it again. Because at whatever point it was where her and Juan, they were doing really, really well when that thing happened to them and the friend messed them up and they ended up, you know, really in dire straits. She's afraid of, like, because she said, I think maybe I got like a PTSD thing. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. But, I mean, you got fear. She's afraid of getting this, having the success and then losing it again. But guess what that's called? That's called life. That's called life. It can happen to anybody. Up one day, down the next. That's why you prepare for a rainy day. That's business. Business is like that. Life is like that. So, yeah, I think maybe some counseling would be good. Some counseling would definitely be good for Robin, because you got to get out of that space. Especially if you're going to be a businesswoman, baby, you got to get out of that space. You got to take risks. You got to make some jumps. You got to take some leaps of faith. You got to do these things. So that's never going to stop. So you need to find someone to talk to that can keep your head above water when it comes to these things. And you'll learn how, you know, set you up with some tools where you could actually work through these issues. Laying in the bed is not going to get it. And when she sat there and said that she has offers for her items for Macy's and TJ Maxx, girl, what's wrong with you? And she ain't returning their calls. What? Chez said, I was ready to throw something across the room at her. I said, are you okay? Miss Thing, go find you somebody to talk to immediately. And as soon as you find somebody to talk to, go talk to Macy's and TJ Maxx, fool. Crazy. Crazy. You need to get that together. So I'm with Giselle on that. And Giselle was kind of looking at her like, girl. Anyway, moving on. So Ashley gets there to the house. Karen and Ashley end up having a conversation. She's filling her in, telling her about the little conversation, you know, the stuff with her and Giselle. And Karen is still hanging on, okay? She's still hanging on. Karen, listen, baby. You full of crap. Because we've already come to the conclusion. We know there's this tension. It is what it is. But the thing with Ray is some bull crap. You put 20 on 10, period. That situation, that is not a good piece of a fight. It's stupid, and it looks stupid, it sounds stupid, and every time you revisit it, we're looking at you stupid. And now she's sitting there talking, Giselle owes my kids an apology. Girl, your kids ain't thinking about no Giselle. Them kids ain't thinking about no mess with Giselle on this show that you clowning about. Them kids ain't thinking about that mess, girl. If you don't let that go, that is a mess. Let that go. That's foolishness. Move it. I've heard enough of it. It's just stupid at this point. The girl didn't wish death on Ray, and you just, girl, go ahead with that mess. Anyway, then Giselle has a conversation with Ashley, and Ashley's so shady, and this is what I'm saying about Ashley, because she all over the place. Then she basically is saying, you know, me and Karen talked about your little situation and stuff. I said, well, who is she? Who is she? Anybody that has as much problems with Michael publicly as Ashley couldn't be telling me nothing. I'd be like, girl, it's good to see you. Girl, get out my face. Get out my face. Out of here. But anyway, and then she flips and says, you know, Karen's been lying a bit, you know, when she talks, she lies a little bit. I was like, okay. All right, then she tells Giselle basically that you hurt Wendy with some of the things that you said to Wendy, you know, and this, that, you hurt Wendy. Now, first of all, you ain't even seen Wendy. I was just looking at Giselle like, okay, I mean, whatever, but girl, again, message versus messenger. I was like, chow, not Ashley. And I mean, truthfully enough, the things she said did hurt Wendy. And she does need to fix it. She can fix it. She needs to fix it. But Ashley, I ain't taking a message from Ashley. Anyway. Then, right in the midst of that, she says, maybe there's really something to these rumors. And maybe that's why, you know, it's, again, this whole thing about the clothing choices and all of this stuff. Okay, so first of all, you're saying she hurt Wendy. And now you're making up a schedule about how you going to go at her now. Make that make sense, Ashley. I guess you're going to say it nicer, huh? How nice is it to keep on drilling a person about their clothing choices? Once is enough. Once is enough for you to tell me you don't like how I dress. For real. Like, do you really think I'm going to stop dressing how I want to dress because you said something about it? And then to keep drilling it, that's a bit much. And that would really, me as a person, I would end up snapping out on you. I'm just telling you. I would end up snapping completely out on you, and I would drag you. But then that's what happened later in the episode, isn't it? Moving on. Just keep listening, baby. Child, listen. But yeah, setting up a schedule about when you gonna go at her. I felt like, it just felt like you gonna check Giselle and then y'all gonna consort on another direction to come at the girl. I said, I don't like that. So then they go and they have this little lunch. They go to the lunch, and Ascala was saying, you know, yesterday really did feel like Interrogation Allen. So it really felt like Interrogation Allen. I said, girl. And I guess that's, yeah, because the scholar's still pretty much like an outsider looking in. And I guess from her point of view, it did look that way. Mia, this whole episode, Mia was giving me just flip-flop. I don't even know. Mia was all over the place. She was just flip-flopping around. Like, well, you did this. Yeah, well, then you did that. And I was like, Mia, well, nobody could choose to say she chose a side because, girl, she flip-flops all over the place. She really does. It's like, girl, Anyway, so when they got to having a conversation and all of this, and of course, it was like, I didn't like what you said. You didn't have to say that, blah, 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 blah. So that little thing was starting to kick up again. And then Wendy starts to thank Karen for the little conversation that they had and everything. She said, Karen held me down. I didn't like the things you said. They were hurtful, this, that, and the other. But Karen, I love what, we had our conversation, and I really thank you, Karen. And this, she really was playing it up really good, because she knew that was going to get up underneath Giselle's skin because of the friction between Giselle and Karen. So we all playing our part. Baby, that doggone Giselle got in that confessional. Was like, Wendy, girl, Karen doesn't even like you. Did you forget? Karen doesn't like you, honey. And then this whole little thing y'all got going, girl, she had this same mommy dearest type of relationship with Ashley. So, girl, you just go right ahead and keep on. I was like, she got a point. But then they went right back to it again, and Giselle started telling her about, girl, you're talking to us like, she was saying, still going at her about these revealing clothes and all of that. And I'm like, cut it out. And then she said, but girl, you're like cutting me off and you're not letting me talk, Wendy. And like, we're not on CNN. We're just sitting here talking to you. Well, don't nobody care. I mean, at one point she started looking at her phone and stuff. I was like, girl, she don't want to hear it. She don't want to hear it. And I think it's a bit much. I really do. I think it's a bit much. Moving on. Mia, they ended up turning that thing on Mia again. And Candace, that daggone Candace was in a confessional going to say, child, Mia, please. Because again, the pole dancing thing came. She said, Mia, girl, you were a lady of the night, child. And you swinging around the pole, honey, with your big old feet. And shady ass Bravo, honey, going pan down at Wendy's feet. I mean, not Wendy, at Mia's feet. I said, Lord have mercy. But Mia's still trying to pump that message that, no, I was not a stripper. I was in a bar that they don't strip. We wear gowns and we go, I was, girl, stop. But Candace sure did get up in that confessional. I said, oh boy, these confessionals, when we get to the reunion, I'm sure it's going to be a pure treat. But yeah, girl told her she's a lady of the night, honey. I said, oh wow. Anyway, so then Ashley was starting up, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm saying, why? Why is Ashley trying to break Wendy? Why? Whatever. So anyway, we end up, they go back, they're at the house and everything. Ashley decides, because she get ready to leave shortly, because she was only staying for a minute. She came in like Candy Burris. I mean, I'm going to drop the bones and I'm getting ready to roll. She came and she going to pull Wendy to the side. Wendy was like, oh, Ashley, why? Why do you want to pull me to the side? And she said, just come and talk to me. She went and she talked to her. Wendy didn't play with Ashley at all. She cut her right off. She told her, listen, let me tell you something. She said, I feel like all of this little stuff you got going on is a setup. With you and Giselle, it's a setup. And she's bringing the whole stuff to her about the stuff in the blogs and all of that. And they're not saying everything. I've noticed right now, they're not saying everything that was said about the vlogs. It's just a couple little things, just the fact that he's having an extramarital affair. But there's some other stuff that was said in the vlogs, but they're not saying that yet. But she told her she feels like it's a setup from Giselle. She called Giselle the spawn of the devil, honey. I said, oh, okay. And then Wendy is my kind of girl when it comes to this kind of thing, because she left that little sit down with Ashley and said, what y'all not going to do is play with my family. These are the games I don't play. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. She went back out to that room, honey. And when I tell you she did roundhouse kicks around the room, baby, she went around that room and just dragged. I said, child, if that ain't me at a family function, honey, and you, and you, and you know I'm the king of transitions, honey. I'll go right out of one thing into the next person, round the room until I clear the room, honey. And that's what Miss Wendy was giving, baby. She came in there, baby. She got to giving out some of the blues, telling them about, listen, don't play with me. Why are y'all even bringing some stuff from some blogs up to me? This, that, and the other. Robin was totally drunk because they had did a whiskey tasting, and Robin got tore. She did 4 shots of whiskey, and they weren't really shots. There was little short glasses of whiskey, and she's like, Papa, Robin was feeling it. And Robin was like, oh, girl, well, I mean, what is the big deal? Somebody said something about you in the blogs. We brought it up. Oh, and now what? I said, oh, Robin. She told Robin, girl, eat a cracker. Eat a cracker, Robin, and shut up, honey. You don't even have a relationship to compare anything to. I said, oh! She got her all the way together. And she was like, and told her, go fuck yourself. I was like, oh. Okay, Wendy. Then she told Giselle, and you, girl, all that mess going on with you and your man screwing everybody around in Atlanta and babies and all of that. She says, you know what it is, sweetie? It's God paying you back for all the shit that you've done to other people. I said, oh! After she just called her the spawn of the devil, honey. I said, oh my gosh. Child, and then she said, no, and Giselle and Robin, because at first Giselle was like, okay, and she tried to fire back a little bit, and that's when she told her, she said, what you're not going to do is play with my husband and play with my family. And she told her, because I don't care nothing about these cameras. She told her, girl, I will drag you all up and down Potomac, honey. I will drag you. I will tear you up. Please don't be fooled by the professor. I will tear you up. I was like, girl, I don't think she's talking about verbally, girl. I think she's like letting you. And told her, I'm putting your ass on notice. I said, oh. Okay, Wendy. And honey, I was looking at Giselle's face, honey. Giselle was giving like, Giselle and Robin at a point was looking at her, and they see like she was like really, really serious about what she was saying. And I was like, oh, they was looking a little scared to me. I said, is you girls trying to figure an exit strategy in case she starts swinging, honey? Because I don't get from you all that y'all are tough. I don't think y'all know bangers, honey. So Miss Wendy just, like she said, I'm putting you on notice, and I'll drag you all up and down Potomac. I said, you play around with my family and my husband. I said, oh, okay. So at this point, Ashley then made her, oh, and she told her too, honey, as much stuff as goes on in the blogs with you and Michael publicly, honey, girl, please. And Ashley, this went really wrong. I just figured that we could bond because I've been through this. She's like, not buying it, bitch. I was like, oh, all right, Daddy. So then Ashley was going into the kitchen to get her little things. And Candace came in and said, why would you do that? Why would you bring that here? Why would you bring that drama here? Like, why would you do that? What were you even seeking? And at this point, Candace was starting to cry. And I think it was because she was just so angry with Ashley. Why would you bring that here? Girl, she told her, get your milk and get out. I said, oh, first of all, you weren't invited. You weren't invited on the trip, and now you've been thrown out. I said, well, maybe Candace does have a little power around here, honey. She didn't invite you. Somebody else bootlegged you an invite, honey, and then Candace overrode it and well, you were on your way out anyway, but she threw you out. She told you to get your ass out of there, and you didn't fight, girl. You got out of there. She didn't get tough like she did at her house, but she threw that knife at her, honey. She said, honey, that husband ain't here to stop her. Let me get on out of here, honey. And she went, this went terribly wrong. I said, no, it didn't. You started mess. You did your job. You did what needed to be done. Now go on home. Go on home, honey. Bagger. Now, Miss Wendy. Girl, I was living for all of your carryings on. And your round house, round the room. I was living for it. But girl, now you went some with this one, girl. When she told Giselle, if you think you're going to play with my Eddie, honey, you're not. You're not. Just because he looks like, since you just jealous, he looks like Idris, who you said that you would screw all up and down. Well, ain't nothing happening, sister. Oh, yes, I said it. He looks like Idris Elba. Excuse me. Flag on the play, Miss Wendy. Now, listen, girl. I was with you. I was with you. Now, you was doing good, girl, but you was really, you really started feeling yourself, honey. Miss Thing, your husband does not look like Idris Elba. I don't know. Now, Wendy, you got plenty of money. You might need to get your contacts calibrated, girl. Eddie is cute. God knows. I think Eddie's adorable. I really do. I think Eddie's adorable. Cute man. But Eddie don't look like no Idris Elba. You can stop that. You can stop that and stop it today. Okay? Your husband do not look like Idris Elba. Eddie is cute. Idris Elba is sexy. Eddie not sexy. Eddie's cute. He's cute. He makes a cute husband. Idris, that's something all the way different, girl. I'm just telling you, girl. You know. You was doing good though. You was doing good, but don't push it. Don't push it. Then she went on, and I was like, whoa, now that was kind of low. That was a low, but I mean that's where y'all at, because they spread rumors about your husband and your relationship. When she said to Giselle, girl, and that whole thing with Jamal, you gotta have pretty low self-esteem to have him around your daughters. I was like, wait a minute, girl, that's their father. I was like, damn. That one was kind of, I was like, ooh, that was kind of, you know what I mean? You got to have pretty low self-esteem to allow your kids' father around them. I said, oh, shit. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to come back from all that. That was like, it was cloak and dagger, baby. They was really getting in it. I was like, this is interesting. And baby, we cut on out from there. I was like, yeah, I think we done did enough for this week. It's been enough, Miss Wendy. Miss Wendy, roundhouse kicked the room, honey. Honey. And was like, what? Threw them braids behind her shoulders, like, what? I said, okay. And Robin couldn't do nothing but throw the damn towel over her drunken head, honey. I said, girl, psh. Anyway, listen, y'all. Potomac was pretty daggone good, honey. I'll talk to y'all now. Look, I know y'all gonna be in them comments. I know y'all got something to say. Ain't no way that we do this thing the way we do this thing every week, and y'all ain't got nothing to say about this episode. I will be reading, honey. I'll be reading. Talk to y'all in a little bit. Later.